So, we're talking about Sugar. Sugar, Sugar, Sugar. One of the creepiest little girls you will ever meet. She is technically 28 years old in the story. I believe she's 28 by the time the Straw Hats meet this little girl. But one of the powers of her devil fruit is basically eternal youth. Okay? So, like, whatever age, like, her devil fruit is works in such a way that, however old you were when you ate it, that is how old you stay. Okay? Like, in terms of, like, physical appearance. So I think Sugar was about, friggin' between 8 and 10, when she ate that devil fruit. So it kind of locked her in to being permanently 8 or, like 8, 9, maybe 10 years old all the time. Okay? Now, she is actually a villain in the story. You wouldn't think somebody that looks like, a sweet little, basically 10-year-old girl would be a villain, but she is. She, like Monet, she worked for, she appears in the Dressrosa arc, and she works for Doflamingo. Now, it's actually due to several of the powers that Sugar's devil fruit, which is the Hobby Hobby no Mi, or I forget what it's actually. I think the English translation is literally just Hobby Hobby fruit. It's kind of like how in some cases in the English dub they still call Robin's fruit the Hana Hana fruit. They just, instead of calling it the Hana Hana no Mi, they call it the Hana Hana fruit. So I think Sugar's is also like that, where they just call it the Hobby Hobby fruit. But her fruit, like I said, it gives her several powers, and one of them I've already mentioned is the Eternal Youth, locking her body physically at whatever age she was when she ate the fruit. So in her case, she's between like 8 and 10 years old perpetually, even though she's actually in her 20s. Actually, kind of approaching 30 basically, but she still has the physical appearance that she had as like basically a 10-year-old girl. And another ability what made her a villain, what made her useful to Doflamingo, was that she had the ability that whenever she touched someone, she could turn them into a toy. Okay, now, she would turn them into toys, okay, and then, after that, she could put a contract on these people that she turned into toys, and they would have to obey it. They could be, on the inside, they could be raging, like, oh, you little brat, oh, I want to freaking kill you. But on the outside, they're like, they have to be happy-go-lucky, hey, everybody, how you doing? Type crap. And this is how they get this whole idea of Dressrosa as this magical place that's basically like a theme park that has freaking talking human-sized toys that do all kinds of stuff for you, when really they're actually transformed humans. Now, the last effect that takes place, and this is something. This shows you how powerful Sugar can actually be, and that is the fact that her devil fruit has the power to affect tons of other people throughout the world that are nowhere near Dressrosa. And that power is basically whenever she turns somebody into a toy. Okay? So she managed to turn Luffy into a toy. okay, then everybody throughout the world, Luffy's friends, his family, his crew, they would all automatically forget that Luffy exists. Okay? That is, like, amazing. Like, you yourself, you remember all your friends and family and everything. You know, as in your toy form. Sorry, it's been a long day. But your friends, your family, like, you could have a loving father who's, you know, been married to his wife for, you know, 15 years, and they've got 3 children and everything, and he loves them all dearly. He could be turned into a toy, and wife and all 3 children are going to forget he exists. I kind of just, like, I guess just blanks in their memory of like, how did I get to be a mother of 3 kids? Like, well, we have to have a father, but don't know where the hell he is, or who he even is. We just have mom. Like, all we can remember is mom, for as far back as we can remember, right? So that's rather terrifying. Like, not only does she turn you into something that she can just manipulate at will, she turns you into something that is not human. She then can just play you like a puppet, make you do whatever she wants, and you have to do this. She makes the rules, and everybody freaking else forgets that you exist. Like, a lot of her abilities remind me of that one, like, devil kid from that one episode of The Twilight Zone, or it might have been from the movie, where that kid had, like, supernatural powers where he could, like, just look at you and, like, either make you, you know, disappear, make you, you know, erase from existence, or I think he turned one guy into a jack-in-the-box. Kind of reminds me of that. So, eternal youth, transformation of people into toys, the ability to put a contract on people that have been turned into toys so that they become basically slaves, and have to do anything that Sugar or any other member of the Doflamingo family, or the Doflamingo crime syndicate, I guess you could say, tell them to do, without question. But you have to do it. You have no choice. You're forced to do it. You're a puppet on a string, basically, now. And also, anyone that knew you, friends, family, loved ones, you know, wife, husband, children, parents, they all forget you exist. And then I mentioned the eternal youth. Okay, so what is the overall arcing theme of the Hobby Hobby fruit? What is it? Well, it's being a kid. Remember being a kid when you had your toys and you made the rules? You know, the toys, like, okay, this toy, you know, this, you know, super robot is the monster that's attacking the Earth, and this guy right here, he's the hero who's gonna defeat the evil robot. And then this girl over here, she's in love with that guy, you know, that kind of crap. You know, you made the rules. You know, these toys don't have a mind of their own. So you made the rules. You made the story. You decided who was the good guy, who was the bad guy, who was in control, who loved who. You know, you made all these rules. And, you know, like, especially when you're young, you feel invincible. Like, oh, I'm never going to get old. I'm going to spend my whole life drinking soda and playing video games, and I'm never going to get old. I'm going to be a kid forever. So, her fruit is literally the embodiment of that. Now, interestingly, her powers all get undone, except for the eternal youth. That's the one constant. But the toy transformation, the contract, and the, excuse me, I had some spaghetti earlier, and it's, like, causing me to hiccup and stuff. But, like, all of that other powers get negated, get turned off, whenever, the user, Sugar, is rendered unconscious. Now, I don't know if this affects... I don't think it comes into effect when Sugar is asleep. I think they make a distinction between being asleep and being unconscious. Like, being unconscious, they define it more like she's knocked out. Like, she took a severe blow to the head, or like or the way Usopp actually beat her, he used a special prop item that he had that he launched with his giant slingshot through her window, and the sight of it terrified her so bad that she fainted from shock. So that's one way. That's how Usopp beat her. And then the moment he did it, everybody else on the island that had been turned into a toy was automatically reverted back to human form. Their friends and family all remembered them, which is a good thing, and another thing that really makes you sad for Robin, because Robin was one of the Straw Hats that actually did get turned into a toy, which meant that all these friends, these people that she regarded as family, just due to the nature of this little piece of shit's powers, automatically forgot about her, just like uncontrollably. They didn't choose to forget her, but that's just the nature of the hobby fruit. So add another, thing of horrible things that have happened to Robin in her life. Yeah, so they get negated, but like, I'm assuming she goes to sleep. I'm assuming she is shown eating lots of candy, lots of sweet things. Well, of course, that could be that, basically she's perpetually 10 years old, and she wants to eat candy all the freaking time just 'cause she can. Or maybe she needs to eat lots of sugar and caffeine and stuff to stay awake. Like, maybe there is no distinction between knocked out and asleep, because, maybe she needs to eat all that sugary stuff just to, basically keep a sugar rush going long enough to keep her up and awake, so that like none of these toys revert back. I'm assuming though she should be able to go to sleep. She just eats all them. Whoops, sucks to be that guy. She just eats all those sugary foods just because she can, and because basically she does have more childlike tendencies due to the fact that she is perpetually a kid. But that's like the whole theme of her ability, is being a kid, playing with your toys, making up the rules. Nobody else can control your imagination. Nobody else can tell you what your toys do. They're your toys. You tell them. You make up the story for their lives, so to speak. And then, like, I'm gonna be a kid forever. That's also for the eternal youth. So, like I said, her powers are one of the kinds of devil fruits that, when you hear what every single ability that they do, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But then when you figure out the theme of the powers, that's when you realize, oh, okay, this is how all these powers interconnect. It's the same way with Law, but that's Sugar. Like I said, a very powerful devil fruit. So yeah, while her sister got a Logia, she got a very, very powerful Paramecia. So yeah, it's bad, considering what freaking, Sugar was able to do with it. Just imagine if, like, Sugar's fruit got into the hands of somebody even more evil, like somebody even more dastardly than she was, Holy crap. Like, basically you just got a super villain walking around turning people into toys and telling them, okay, you could go up to like the sweetest, nicest people in the neighborhood, turn them into toys, and say, okay, you're now my personal army of killer toys. Go out there and maim and murder as much as possible because I said so. And you would have to do it. They would have to do it. Yeah. Sugar's fruit's kind of messed up when you really think about what this thing could let you do to people. And guess what? Nobody would remember who you were, so it's like, now you've become a killer toy. You're forced to murder kinds of folks just because this friggin' person with this weird power touched you and told you you have to do this. And none of your friends and family even remember you, so it's not like anybody notices that you've gone missing. Holy shit. That's actually a scary fucking power if you really think about it. Yeah. That's just straight up terrifying, really, if you think about what you're able to do it. And if I ever find Law, I'm gonna talk about him. Like I said, I really like his devil fruit. I really would like to have its powers. Don't know who I'll talk about next, though. I'm gonna be on the hunt trying to find Law. So I definitely want to make him the next video, but I gotta find him first. So I'm gonna finish up beating the hell out of these Marines, just because I can. I make the rules here, and I say these Marines need to get their asses kicked. But anyway, thanks for listening, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.